Hello, my name is Sofia Chavez, and this is my final presentation for U.S. History to 1302. And today I'm going to be talking about 20 important events and eras in U.S. history. The American Revolution. The American Revolution was a super important event in U.S. history. It was when the colonists wanted to be independent and have their own government. It was a tough and long war, but in the end, the colonists were victorious and the United States of America was born. The Declaration of Independence holds a significant place in American history. It was crafted in 1776 as a way for the American colonies to express their desire for independence from Britain. The Declaration of Independence plays a pivotal role in shaping the foundation of the United States and continues to symbolize the values of freedom and individual rights that we hold. The Louisiana Purchase. In 1803, the United States bought a huge chunk of land from France, which was known as the Louisiana Territory. France's ruler was losing interest in establishing a North American empire and needed funds to fight a war at the time. The Oregon Trail. Mid-1800s, there was a trail called the Oregon Trail that pioneers and settlers traveled through to head west and start a new life in Oregon. The Oregon Trail stretched over 2,000 miles from Missouri all the way to Oregon. Thousands of people embarked on this journey seeking new opportunities, fertile land, and a chance for a better life. The Gold Rush. The Gold Rush was in the mid-1800s when thousands of people traveled to California in search of gold. It all started in 1848 when gold was discovered at Sutter's Mill. These folks left their homes, families, and everything behind to dig for gold. The American Civil War. The Civil War began in 1861 and ended in 1865. One of the main reasons the Civil War was fought was slavery. The northern states wanted to bring an end to slavery, while the southern states wanted to keep it. It was a super intense and brutal war that lasted for 4 long years. World War I. World War I, also known as the Great War, was a massive conflict that happened in 1914 to 1918. It involved many countries from around the world and had a huge impact on history. The war started with complex factors like alliances between different countries, territorial disputes, and rising tensions. The Harlem Renaissance. The Harlem Renaissance was a vibrant time in the 1920s when African American culture flourished in Harlem, New York City. It wasn't just about art, though. The Harlem Renaissance also played a role in the civil rights movement as it brought attention to the experiences and struggles of African Americans. Women's suffrage. The suffrage movement gained more support in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, with women organizing protests, marches, and advocating for their rights. They faced a lot of challenges and opposition, but they never gave up. Women's suffrage symbolized a larger fight for women's rights and equality in all aspects of life, including education, employment, and political representation. The Roaring Twenties. During the Roaring Twenties, which was 1920 through 1929, there was a spirit of rebellion and a desire to break free from traditional norms. It was a time of economic prosperity, technological advancements, and social liberations. However, the decade came to an abrupt end with the onset of the Great Depression in 1929, which brought economic hardship and changed the course of history. The Prohibition era. From 1920 to 1933, the United States had a period called Prohibition when making, selling, and distributing alcohol was prohibited. Organized crime such as the infamous Chicago outfit led by Al Capone seized opportunity to profit from the illegal alcohol trade. They smuggled alcohol from Canada and produced their own moonshine in hidden distilleries. The Great Depression. The Great Depression was a period of time when the economy took a major hit from 1929 to 1941. The cause of this economic downfall was the stock market crash in 1929. This caused a lot of panic and led to major economic collapse. Unemployment rates soared and people struggled to make ends meet. Many had to stand in long lines at soup kitchens just to get a meal. It was a challenging time for an entire nation. World War I was a global conflict that took place from 1939 to 1945. It involved many nations from around the world and had a profound impact on history. The war began when Germany, led by Adolf Hitler, invaded Poland, triggering a series of events that led to the involvement of major powers such as the United States, the Soviet Union, and the United Kingdom. One of the most significant events of World War II was the Holocaust, where millions of innocent people, primarily Jews, were systematically persecuted and killed by the Nazis. The attack on Pearl Harbor. The attack on Pearl Harbor was a major attack that happened during World War II on December 7, 1941. The Japanese surprise attacked the U.S. naval force in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The attack on Pearl Harbor made a difference in World War II as it spurred the United States to enter the war. The next day, President Franklin D. Roosevelt officially entered the war and joined the Allied forces in the fight against the Axis powers. The Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project was a top-secret research and project during World War II. The goal was to develop the world's first atomic bomb. It involved a collaboration between the United States, the United Kingdom, and Canada. The leading scientists of the time, like J. Robert Oppenheimer, played a crucial role in its success. The project culminated in the successful test of the atomic bomb in July 1945 in New Mexico. Just a few weeks later, the United States dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, leading to Japan's surrender and the end of World War II. The Cold War. The Cold War was a period of intense political tension and rivalry that lasted from the late 1940s to the early 1990s. It was a standoff between the United States and the Soviet Union, two superpowers with contrasting ideologies. The Cold War was fueled by the ideological differences between capitalism and communism. Both sides strengthened their military forces, which resulted in an arms race and the creation of nuclear weapons. The Civil Rights Movement. The Civil Rights Movement was a pivotal movement in American history, focused on achieving equal rights and ending racial segregation and discrimination. The movement aimed to secure voting rights, desegregate schools, buses, and public spaces, desegregate schools, buses, and public spaces, and end discriminatory practices. The Space Race. The space race was a competition between the United States and the Soviet Union during the Cold War era to make new achievements in space exploration. The space race spurred rapid advancements in science and technology, leading to the development of various space exploration capabilities, including human space flight, satellite communication, and robotic missions. The Vietnam War. It was a conflict from 1955 to 1975, primarily between North Vietnam, supported by the Soviet Union and China, and South Vietnam, supported by the United States and other anti-communist allies. The conflict had a significant impact on both Vietnam and the United States. The war caused immense loss of life, destruction, and displacement of people. It also led to widespread protests and social unrest in the United States, as many questioned the government's involvement in the morality of the war. The Watergate Scandal. The Watergate Scandal was a major political scandal that rocked the United States in the 1970s. The Watergate Scandal was about a break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters in Washington, D.C. It was planned by people associated with President Richard Nixon's re-election campaign. The investigation of the Watergate scandal resulted in President Nixon's resignation in 1974, making him the only U.S. president to step down from office. And these are some of my references.